Welcome to the Employco HR Chat. I'm Rob Wilson. With me is Jason Eisenet, our Vice President of HR.
Hey, everyone.
So HR Chat this week, Jason, let's talk about the 6 trends to look at from the HR side in 2024.
Yeah, we're seeing these across the country, not only in different publications, but we're also experiencing it with our own clients and kind of what they're bringing up and some pain points and things they're worried about. So number one on our list for the 6 trends, HR trends to monitor for 2024, number one is artificial intelligence. Right. Although it's not really sweeping, it's not in place every organization, everybody's feeling it yet. It is a trend that I don't think is going away. I don't think it's embedded in every organization yet, but it is something that HR and organizations really need to focus on in terms of training and policies. How much do you want employees using artificial intelligence? Are you using it for first line of employee or customer responses? So it is something that organizations should start to focus on and pay attention to.
And if you're using it on the HR side, you just want to make sure that the data that's being presented is correct.
Yeah, and secure and private. Yeah, great point.
So number 2, skill gaps and skill-based hiring.
So because it's still really, really difficult for employers to recruit and find good quality employees, we're seeing that employers are shifting less away from placing a high importance on education and experience. Still important, but what you're finding more is that companies who are finding themselves a difficulty in recruiting is placing more emphasis on finding the right skills, the right person, the right personality. So if you find the right employee, the right new hire candidate who has the right skills, maybe you can train them on how to do that job, the essential functions of the job. Long-term success of that employee is more likely if you find the right person than the right experience and education.
Right. Good point. The next one is new compliance rules, which we could do an entire chat just on
right.
This one, because every year, every January, there's a million of them that come out, especially if you're a multi-state company.
Yeah, good point. So pay transparency, making sure you're posting the pay range in different job help wanted ads across the country, even if it's a remote position. Make sure you're posting that because more and more states are requiring that, especially like, for example, Illinois in 2025. The new overtime rule is going to be probably kicking in 2024.
Right, that'll be out at sometime this year. And then you've got health insurance requirements or retirement requirements. Different states have put in 401k requirements.
Yeah, Secure 2.0 is a big one. That'll be changing your retirement plans over the next year.
And so if you're in multi-states, there's a lot of new rules. In some cases, it's down to cities like Chicago, counties. So there's a lot of new changes on compliance. So if you have questions on that, feel free. There's so many to go through. Reach out to Jason at hr@employco.com. But and the next on your list,
number 4 is return to work. So we're seeing a kind of a big trend of organizations who are fully remote bring some employees back hybrid or some of the employees back. And the organizations who are hybrid make it less hybrid. Instead of 2 or 3 days a week at home, you're going to probably limit it to 1 day a week. We're seeing that employers and organizations are worried about productivity, socialization, camaraderie, retention, which the thought is if you bring employees back and they're working together, getting to know each other personal, work level, that should improve a lot of these functions.
Right. Yeah, you're seeing that trend quite a bit in 24.
And that leads us into number 5, employee engagement. Although 30% or around that number are engaged, that means the bad part is 70% of employees aren't engaged. And that's a pretty consistent number across the different surveys that we're seeing.
Right.
So if 70% of your employees are not engaged, there are different things you can do, like an employee engagement survey and more one-on-one informal meetings with your direct reports, a wide variety of things that you can try and do to improve that
Enhance your communication.
Oh, it's such a big, good point.
Yeah, it's you look at it, 30% are engaged, but the bigger issue is 70% are not engaged, and how to increase that. And our one of the topics in our podcast this month was boredom. How many people? 57% of people employed are bored.
Yeah, and
how can you increase that engagement?
And some of the things we just talked about also maybe vary their job responsibilities. So if they're doing the same thing day in, day out, and they've been doing it for years, consider making this a little bit more, increase some of the variety in their job and their role.
Yeah, definitely increase your communication. And number 6?
Speaking of increase, I think we're still seeing increased wages, but it's not as high as it was this time last year. So 2024 will still see higher than normal wage increase, but it is not as nearly as high as the 4.4%, 4.5% we saw kind of going into 2023.
The good news is inflation has dropped this year, so you don't have the year increase. Inflation's dropped down a couple of points than it was a year ago, so that helps as well.
Yeah, good point.
So.
Yeah, and any of these points, like if especially related to compensation, let us know if you have questions. For example, for our clients, we help them do a salary analysis. We can benchmark job titles like receptionist to receptionist in the geographic area, or accounting supervisor. We can do some of these kind of pay analysis for our organizations to see if you're paying your employees in the right range based on your geographic area.
Right. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Feel free to reach out to us at hr@employco.com. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining us.